Credit cards are financial tools that offer convenience, rewards, and emergency funds when used responsibly. Smart consumers pay off balances monthly, earn cash back, and build credit scores through disciplined spending habits. Then there are people who financed a life-sized dinosaur statue, bought 17 pairs of the same shoes, or charged a funeral for a pet rock to their Visa. 1. A man charged $15,000 worth of Beanie Babies to his credit card, convinced they would fund his retirement. He maxed out 3 different cards, buying every Beanie Baby he could find at retail stores. He believed the stuffed animals would appreciate in value like rare investments. The toys sat in plastic cases in his garage for 20 years. When he tried to sell them, the entire collection was worth maybe $300 total. The interest he paid over the years exceeded the purchase price by thousands. His retirement plan became boxes of worthless stuffed animals. Credit card companies loved his monthly minimum payments. His family discovered the Beanie Baby hoard after he passed away. The estate sale embarrassment was legendary in the family. 2. A woman put a $10,000 crystal chandelier on her credit card for a rental apartment. She didn't own the apartment, and the lease prohibited modifications. The landlord made her remove it when discovered during inspection. She couldn't return the chandelier because she'd already installed it. The credit card interest accumulated while the chandelier sat in storage. She moved 3 times and paid storage fees for the unusable light fixture. The chandelier eventually sold for $2,000 at a garage sale. She paid interest on that purchase for 7 years total. The rental apartment got a basic light fixture from Home Depot. Her expensive taste exceeded her renter status. The chandelier debt outlasted 3 relationships. 3. A man charged $8,000 for a professional-grade espresso machine, despite only drinking coffee twice a year. He saw the machine at a restaurant and decided he needed it immediately. The machine required special training to operate properly that he never got. It sat on his counter for 3 years completely unused. The credit card interest made the machine cost over $12,000 total. He eventually sold it for $1,500, still in perfect unused condition. His 2 annual coffees continued to come from Starbucks. The buyer got an amazing deal on the pristine machine. His kitchen counter space was wasted for years. The machine manual remained in its plastic wrapper. 4. A woman bought a $6,000 purebred dog on her credit card, then realized she was severely allergic. The allergic reaction was immediate and severe upon bringing the dog home. She couldn't return the dog because the breeder had a no-return policy. She had to rehome the dog within 3 days of purchase. The credit card debt remained while the dog went to another family. She paid interest on a dog she owned for 72 hours. The allergy medication cost more than the dog's food would have. Her dream of dog ownership lasted less than a week. The new owners got a very expensive dog for free. She still had dog supplies she'd charged to the card. 5. A man put a $20,000 sports motorcycle on his credit card without having a motorcycle license. He bought the bike after seeing it in a movie. He never took the required safety course or got his license. The bike sat in his garage for 2 years depreciating. Insurance costs on the unused bike added to his monthly expenses. He eventually sold it for $12,000, having never ridden it once. The credit card interest made his non-riding hobby very expensive. His friends mocked him for the garage decoration. The bike had exactly 11 miles on it from delivery. His motorcycle fantasy cost him thousands in interest alone. 6. A woman charged $5,000 for a treadmill that became an expensive clothes rack within a month. She bought it during a New Year's resolution fitness motivation. The treadmill was used exactly 4 times before being abandoned. It sat in her bedroom covered with clothes for 3 years. The credit card minimum payments continued monthly while it collected dust. She eventually sold it for $800 to someone who actually used it. Her gym membership would have been dramatically cheaper. The treadmill took up a quarter of her bedroom. Moving companies charged extra to move the unused equipment. Her fitness goals died faster than her interest payments. 7. A man bought a $4,000 drone with professional camera equipment despite never flying drones before. He crashed it on the very first flight into a tree. The expensive drone was completely destroyed within 10 minutes of ownership. The credit card purchase couldn't be disputed because it was user error. He paid interest on broken drone parts sitting in his closet. The crash video on his phone was the only footage he ever captured. His drone hobby lasted shorter than some TV commercials. The tree that claimed the drone still stands as a monument to his poor decision. Friends watched him crash $4,000 in seconds. He never bought another drone but paid for that one for years. 8. A woman put $7,000 worth of designer handbags on her credit card for Instagram photos only. She bought the bags specifically to photograph them for social media. The bags were never actually used for carrying anything. She returned to Target bags for actual daily use. The designer bags sat in their dust bags in her closet. The credit card interest made each Instagram photo cost about $50. Her followers didn't know the bags were financed and unused. She eventually sold them at significant loss. The social media validation was very expensive. Her Instagram didn't even become popular. The photos got an average of 40 likes each. 9. A man charged $12,000 for a hot tub he installed before checking his electrical system. His home's electrical panel couldn't support the hot tub's power requirements. Upgrading the electrical system would cost another $8,000. The hot tub sat in his backyard, unusable for 2 years. He paid monthly credit card interest on a giant decorative planter. The hot tub eventually cracked from weather exposure before ever being used. He paid to have it removed at additional cost. His hot tub dream became a $12,000 mistake. Neighbors joked about the world's most expensive lawn ornament. The credit card debt outlasted the unusable hot tub. 10. A woman bought $3,000 of specialized scuba gear despite living in a landlocked state and never having scuba dived. She watched a documentary and decided scuba diving would be her new hobby. She charged full gear including wetsuit, tanks, and regulators. She never took a single scuba lesson or certification course. The gear sat unused in her garage for 5 years. She eventually donated it all without ever getting wet. The closest body of water was a lake 3 hours away. Her scuba hobby existed only on her credit card statement. The interest payments continued long after the donation. She paid to never use equipment designed for underwater. Her beach vacation dreams never materialized into actual trips. 11. A man put $9,000 on his credit card for a riding lawnmower, despite having a tiny yard. His lawn was so small he could mow it with a push mower in 15 minutes. The riding mower was bigger than his actual grass area. He used it twice before realizing how impractical it was. The mower sat in his garage, taking up massive space. He paid interest on lawn equipment that was completely unnecessary. Neighbors laughed at the oversized mower for the tiny lawn. He eventually sold it for $4,000. The push mower he replaced cost $79. His lawn care costs increased dramatically for no benefit. The mower barely fit through his garage door. 12. A woman charged $6,000 for a professional camera setup to start a photography business she never launched. She bought the camera, lenses, lighting, and editing software all at once. She took maybe 20 photos before losing interest completely. The expensive equipment sat in cases collecting dust. She never took a single photography class or tutorial. The credit card interest accumulated while the camera depreciated. She sold everything 3 years later for $1,800. Her photography business existed only as debt. The camera technology was outdated by the time she sold it. Her Instagram still used iPhone photos exclusively. The business cards she printed were never distributed. 13. A man bought a $5,000 guitar collection despite not knowing how to play guitar. He charged multiple guitars thinking he'd teach himself eventually. He never took a single guitar lesson or watched a tutorial. The guitars hung on his wall as expensive decoration. He couldn't play a single chord after owning them for 2 years. The credit card interest made each guitar cost significantly more. He sold them for half price to someone who actually played. His musical career never started, but the debt was real. Friends assumed he could play because of the wall display. The guitar picks he bought remained in their package. His rockstar fantasy cost him thousands in interest. 14. A woman put $8,000 on her credit card for a wedding dress despite being single. She found her dream dress at a bridal shop while browsing. She had no boyfriend, no engagement, and no wedding planned. The dress hung in her closet for 4 years. She eventually got engaged, and the dress was wrong style for her actual wedding. She sold it for $2,000, never having worn it. The credit card interest made the fantasy dress cost over $10,000. Her actual wedding dress cost less, and she actually wore it. The impulse bridal purchase was based on pure fantasy. Her future husband never saw the first dress. The debt lasted longer than her engagement. 15. A man charged $11,000 for a boat despite living in an apartment complex with no water access nearby. He bought the boat on impulse at a boat show. He had nowhere to store it except expensive marina storage. He used the boat exactly 3 times in 2 years. The storage fees plus credit card interest made each boat trip cost over $2,000. He sold it for $6,000 after paying storage for years. His boating hobby was the most expensive 3 days of his life. The marina parking spot cost more monthly than many apartments. Friends stopped accepting his boat trip invitations after the first experience. The boat spent more time in storage than water. His apartment lease prohibited boat parking anywhere on property. 16. A woman bought $4,000 worth of essential oils to start a multi-level marketing business. She charged her starter inventory to her credit card, believing she'd make it back quickly. She sold maybe $200 worth of oils total. The rest sat in her closet, expiring and losing value. She paid interest on products she couldn't sell. The MLM company made money while she went into debt. Her friends stopped answering calls about oil parties. The credit card debt outlasted her MLM enthusiasm by years. She eventually threw away expired oils she'd paid interest on. Her get-rich-quick scheme became a get-poor-slowly reality. The upline who recruited her disappeared when sales didn't materialize. 17. A man put $7,000 on his credit card for arcade machines for his basement. He bought vintage arcade games thinking they'd appreciate in value. The machines didn't work properly and needed expensive repairs. He never fixed them, and they sat broken in his basement. The credit card interest accumulated on broken decorations. He sold them for scrap at significant loss years later. His retro arcade dream became a money pit. The games worked better when he was a kid with quarters. Moving them into the basement damaged 2 of them. His nostalgia was very expensive. The basement became a graveyard of broken games. 18. A woman charged $5,000 for a designer puppy, then realized she traveled too much for work. She bought the puppy on impulse, seeing it at a mall kiosk. Her work schedule required to travel 4 days every week. She had to hire a dog sitter that cost more than her car payment. She eventually rehomed the dog after 6 months of sitter expenses. The credit card debt remained while the dog lived elsewhere. She paid interest on a dog she no longer owned. The dog sitter fees plus interest made her the most expensive foster home ever. Her puppy impulse cost her over $10,000 total. The new owners got a well-trained dog she paid to raise. Her apartment still had dog toys she'd charged to the card. 19. A man bought $9,000 worth of cryptocurrency mining equipment right before the crash. He charged computer hardware believing he'd make it back in months. The cryptocurrency crashed and mining became unprofitable immediately. The equipment sat running up his electric bill while losing money. He paid credit card interest on equipment that lost him more money. He eventually sold it for $2,000 to cut his losses. His crypto mining career lost money every single day. The electric bill increase exceeded any mining profits. His bedroom sounded like a data center with all the fans. The heat from the equipment made his apartment unbearable. His cryptocurrency fortune never materialized. 20. A woman put $6,000 on her credit card for a timeshare presentation trip that cost her more. She bought the timeshare after the high-pressure sales presentation. The timeshare maintenance fees exceeded her mortgage payment. She never used the timeshare once in 3 years of ownership. She paid credit card interest plus annual fees on something unused. Trying to sell the timeshare cost her additional money. Her free vacation became the most expensive trip never taken. The timeshare company made thousands while she went deeper in debt. She eventually paid someone to take the timeshare contract. Her vacation investment became a financial nightmare. The presentation promised luxury but delivered debt. 21. A man charged $8,000 for smart home equipment that never worked properly. He bought automated everything from lights to locks to blinds. The systems conflicted with each other and constantly malfunctioned. He spent hundreds more on technicians who couldn't fix it. The credit card interest accumulated on a house that was dumber with smart technology. He eventually removed it all and went back to regular switches. His futuristic home became a frustration factory. The smart home was significantly dumber than the old system. Guests laughed at doors that wouldn't unlock. His utility bills increased from all the devices constantly running. The smart home made his life measurably harder. 22. A woman bought $12,000 worth of furniture for a house she was trying to buy, but didn't get. She charged all the furniture before the house sale was finalized. The deal fell through at the last minute. She stored the furniture for 8 months looking for another house. The storage fees plus interest made the furniture incredibly expensive. She finally bought a different house where the furniture didn't fit. She sold most of it at a loss. The credit card debt lasted years after selling the furniture. Her dream home furniture never made it to a dream home. The storage unit cost more than many furniture payments. Her premature shopping cost her thousands in unnecessary expenses. 23. A man put $15,000 on his credit card for a pool table despite having no room for it. He bought the professional tournament-sized table at an estate sale. His house couldn't fit the table anywhere. He stored it in his garage where it couldn't be used. The table sat for 4 years before he sold it at massive loss. He paid interest on a pool table that was never used once. His garage parking was sacrificed for unused sports equipment. The table was in perfect condition because it was never touched. Moving companies charged premium rates for the massive table. His pool hobby never started, but the payments continued. Friends joked about the world's most expensive garage occupant. 24. A woman charged $7,000 for professional baking equipment to start a bakery from home. She bought commercial ovens, mixers, and display cases. Local regulations prohibited commercial baking from residential kitchens. She never got the required permits or licenses. The equipment sat unused in her garage for 3 years. She paid credit card interest on equipment she couldn't legally use. She sold everything at significant loss when she gave up. Her bakery dream violated zoning laws she never researched. The equipment was too industrial for home electricity anyway. Her baking business never baked a single commercial item. The health department rejected her home bakery application immediately. 25. A man bought $10,000 worth of action figures to hold as investments. He charged cases of collectible action figures believing they'd appreciate. The market for those specific figures collapsed within a year. He couldn't sell them for even half of what he paid. The credit card interest accumulated on toys sitting in boxes. He eventually donated them for a tax write-off worth less than the debt. His investment strategy was based on YouTube videos. The figures remained in packaging gathering dust. His retirement fund became a toy collection. The financial returns were negative every single month. His collectibles proved to be completely worthless. 26. A woman put $9,000 on her credit card for a purebred horse despite having no horse experience. She bought the horse after one trail ride at a resort. She had no land, no stable, and no knowledge of horse care. The boarding fees at a local stable cost more than her rent. She sold the horse after 4 months of expensive boarding. The credit card debt remained while the horse lived elsewhere. She paid interest on a horse she visited twice. Her equestrian phase lasted 1 fiscal quarter. The horse expenses exceeded her car payment by significant amounts. Her riding lessons stopped after she sold the horse. The horse equipment she bought sat unused in her closet. 27. A man charged $6,000 for a complete golf club set despite having never golfed. He bought top-of-the-line clubs after watching a golf tournament on TV. He went to the driving range exactly once. The clubs sat in his garage for 5 years untouched. He paid credit card interest on sports equipment for a sport he didn't play. He eventually sold them for $1,800 in perfect unused condition. His golf career lasted approximately 45 minutes. The country club membership he also bought went completely unused. His golf bag still had the tags attached when he sold it. Friends declined his invitations to golf after witnessing his complete lack of skill. The golf shoes he bought were never worn outside his house. 28. A woman bought $8,000 of gym equipment for her spare bedroom, despite having a gym membership. She charged a complete home gym setup believing she'd work out more at home. She continued going to her regular gym exclusively. The home equipment sat unused while she paid both gym membership and credit card interest. She sold everything 3 years later, having never used it once. Her spare bedroom was unusable due to the equipment blocking everything. The gym membership cost less monthly than her credit card interest on unused equipment. Her fitness routine never included the home gym. The equipment was in pristine condition because it was never touched. Moving the heavy equipment to sell it cost her additional money. Her spare bedroom could have been an office instead. 29. A man put $11,000 on his credit card for a motorcycle he couldn't ride due to back problems. He bought the motorcycle despite his doctor's warnings about his chronic back condition. The vibrations from riding caused severe pain immediately. He rode it exactly twice before realizing it was impossible. The motorcycle sat in his garage depreciating for 3 years. He paid credit card interest on transportation he couldn't physically use. He sold it for $7,000 having barely ridden it. His back problems were known before he bought it. The motorcycle helmet and gear he bought also went unused. His doctor reminded him at every appointment about the unnecessary purchase. The bike insurance continued while it sat unused, increasing his costs. 30. A woman charged $5,000 for concert tickets to see her favorite band in another country. She bought VIP packages for herself and friends who never committed to going. The friends all backed out, leaving her with extra tickets. She couldn't sell them because they were non-transferable VIP packages. She went alone to a foreign country and the extra tickets went unused. The credit card interest plus travel costs made it the most expensive concert ever. Her friends never reimbursed her for their tickets. The concert was good, but not $8,000 good. Her vacation days were wasted on a trip others abandoned. The experience was ruined by going alone. She paid interest on tickets that were never used by anyone. The friends who backed out stopped talking to her about the debt. 31. A man bought $7,000 worth of rare vinyl records despite not owning a record player. He charged an entire collection from an estate sale on impulse. The records sat in boxes because he had no way to play them. He bought a record player 6 months later for another $800. He listened to maybe 5 records before losing interest. The credit card interest made each record cost significantly more than streaming music. He sold the collection for $3,000 years later. His vinyl hobby existed mostly as debt. The records took up storage space in his apartment. His music listening continued to be entirely through Spotify. The record player he bought also rarely got used. His audiophile phase was brief but expensive. 32. A woman put $6,000 on her credit card for a vacation package she never took. She booked a luxury resort trip for a date 6 months away. She lost her job 3 months before the trip. The vacation package was non-refundable and she couldn't afford to go. She paid credit card interest on a vacation she never experienced. The resort photos on their website were all she ever saw. Her financial situation made the trip completely impossible. She declared bankruptcy, but the vacation charge was included in her debt. Her dream vacation became a debt nightmare. The resort sent her reminder emails she couldn't bear to open. Friends went on similar trips while she paid for one she never took. The credit card company wouldn't waive the charge despite her circumstances. 33. A man charged $9,000 for a saltwater aquarium setup despite knowing nothing about fish. He bought the complete system after visiting a friend's house. The installation required structural modifications he couldn't afford. The aquarium sat empty in his living room for 2 years. He paid credit card interest on fish habitat with no fish. The empty aquarium became an expensive conversation piece. He eventually sold it for $3,000, never having had a single fish. His aquarium hobby never got past the tank purchase. The specialized lighting ran constantly, increasing his electric bill. Friends joked about his invisible fish collection. The aquarium water he never bought would have cost hundreds monthly. His marine biology phase ended before it started. 34. A woman bought $4,000 worth of baby items before even getting pregnant. She charged everything from cribs to car seats to clothing after deciding she wanted a baby. 2 years passed and she still wasn't pregnant. The items sat unused in a spare bedroom, taking up space. She paid credit card interest on baby gear with no baby. Some items expired or became outdated safety-wise. She eventually sold everything when she decided against having children. Her motherhood preparation was premature by years. The nursery she created stayed empty. Friends borrowed items that she'd paid interest on for years. The baby clothes still had tags when she sold them. Her family planning timeline didn't match her shopping timeline. 35. A man put $8,000 on his credit card for a generator for emergencies that never came. He bought the industrial-sized generator after one minor power outage. His neighborhood rarely lost power. The generator sat in his garage for 6 years unused. He paid credit card interest on emergency equipment that was never an emergency. The generator maintenance alone cost hundreds he never performed. He sold it for $4,000, having never started it once. His emergency preparedness was expensive insurance against unlikely events. The power outages he feared never materialized. His electric bill would have to go up significantly to justify the cost. Neighbors had smaller, cheaper generators that also sat unused. His emergency anxiety cost him thousands in interest. 36. A woman charged $10,000 for a complete wardrobe makeover despite working from home. She hired a stylist and bought a complete new professional wardrobe. She worked remotely and rarely left her house. The clothes hung in her closet with tags still attached. She paid credit card interest on clothes she never wore. Her video calls only showed her from shoulders up anyway. She eventually sold most items having never worn them. Her wardrobe upgrade was for a lifestyle she didn't have. The stylist fee alone was thousands she paid interest on. Her daily outfit continued to be sweatpants. The professional wardrobe shopping spree made no practical sense. Her closet was full of expensive, unused clothing. Her work-from-home situation made the wardrobe completely unnecessary. 37. A man bought $12,000 of woodworking equipment despite living in an apartment. He charged saws, routers, workbenches, and every tool imaginable. His apartment lease prohibited woodworking, and he had no workspace. The equipment sat in storage units, costing him monthly. He paid storage fees plus credit card interest on tools he couldn't use. He eventually sold everything at massive loss, never completing a single project. His woodworking hobby was imaginary. The storage unit cost more than renting actual workshop space would have. His carpentry skills never developed. The tools were in perfect unused condition when sold. His apartment neighbors would have complained about any sawing noise. His hobby planning ignored all practical limitations. 38. A woman put $7,000 on her credit card for plastic surgery she later regretted. She charged a cosmetic procedure after seeing before and after photos online. The results weren't what she expected. She underwent a revision surgery at additional cost. She paid credit card interest on a procedure she wanted fixed. The total cost with interest exceeded $15,000. Her confidence wasn't improved by the surgery. The original procedure created problems that took years to correct. Her plastic surgery debt lasted longer than her satisfaction with results. Photos of her procedure became examples of what not to do. Her regret was accompanied by years of minimum payments. The emotional cost exceeded the financial burden. Her decision was made impulsively without proper research. 39. A man charged $6,000 for a pizza oven for his backyard despite rarely cooking. He bought the Italian brick oven after watching cooking shows. He used it exactly 3 times in 2 years. The oven took up most of his small patio. He paid credit card interest on an outdoor appliance he didn't use. The weather in his area made outdoor cooking impractical most of the year. He sold it for $2,000 after moving to a new house. His pizza-making phase lasted about 1 month. The firewood he bought for it went unused and rotted. His pizza orders from restaurants continued unchanged. The oven maintenance he never performed caused it to deteriorate. His backyard pizza dreams cost him thousands. His regular oven worked fine for the few times he cooked. 40. A woman bought $5,000 of craft supplies to start a business that never opened. She charged everything from fabric to thread to displays. Her Etsy shop received 3 orders total. The supplies filled an entire room in her house. She paid credit card interest on inventory that never sold. The craft business existed only in her imagination and debt. She eventually donated most supplies years later. Her entrepreneurial dream became expensive decorations. The business cards she printed were never distributed. Her social media marketing got minimal engagement. The craft fair booth fees she paid went to a business making no sales. Her creative outlet became a financial drain. The supplies she bought were outdated by the time she donated them. 41. A man put $9,000 on his credit card for a telescope, despite living in a city with light pollution. He bought a professional-grade telescope after watching space documentaries. The city lights made viewing nearly impossible from his location. He used it maybe 4 times before giving up. The telescope sat in his closet, taking up valuable space. He paid credit card interest on equipment that didn't work in his environment. He eventually sold it for $4,000 to someone in a rural area. His astronomy hobby was doomed from the start by his location. The telescope required dark skies he didn't have access to. His space exploration dreams didn't account for urban reality. The drive to dark sky areas was too far for regular trips. His stargazing ambitions exceeded his geographical limitations. 42. A woman charged $8,000 for language learning software and classes for a language she never studied. She bought complete programs for Japanese after watching anime. Her motivation disappeared within 2 weeks. The software sat unused while she paid credit card interest. She completed maybe one lesson before abandoning the effort. The classes she paid for went unattended. She paid interest on education she never received. Her Japanese language skills remained at zero. The learning materials were eventually donated unopened. Her anime watching continued without language comprehension. The tutor she hired was paid for canceled sessions. Her linguistic ambitions died quickly, but the debt persisted. The expensive software had free alternatives she never tried. 43. A man bought $7,000 of DJ equipment despite having no DJing experience. He charged turntables, mixers, speakers, and lighting after going to one club. He never learned how to DJ or mix music. The equipment turned his living room into unusable space. He paid credit card interest on a professional setup he couldn't operate. He sold everything 2 years later for $3,000. His DJ career never played a single gig. The equipment instruction manuals remained in their plastic. His music continued to come from streaming services. Friends declined to come to his non-existent DJ parties. The speakers were too powerful for his apartment anyway. His EDM phase was expensive but brief. 44. A woman put $11,000 on her credit card for furniture she saw at a luxury showroom. She bought a complete living room set for a house she was only renting. The furniture was too large for her actual living room. Some pieces didn't fit through her doorway. She stored the excess furniture, paying monthly storage fees. She paid credit card interest, plus storage on furniture she couldn't use. She eventually sold it all when her lease ended. Her taste exceeded her living situation. The furniture was beautiful, but completely impractical. Her rental apartment wasn't designed for luxury furniture. The movers she hired cost extra due to the difficult pieces. Her living room looked cluttered instead of luxurious. The furniture she could use didn't match her space aesthetics. 45. A man charged $14,000 for a vintage car restoration project he never finished. He bought the non-running classic car believing he'd restore it himself. The car sat on blocks in his driveway for 5 years. Neighbors complained about the eyesore. He paid credit card interest on a car that never ran. The restoration costs he estimated were triple what he expected. He sold it as parts after city code enforcement threatened fines. His restoration project was abandoned after buying the car. The mechanical skills he thought he had didn't exist. His driveway decoration was an expensive non-running vehicle. The title work alone cost him hundreds. His automotive dreams died, but the credit card debt continued. The car was worth less when he sold it than when he bought it. His midlife crisis car was a financial disaster from day one. Credit cards make terrible financial decisions feel temporarily affordable. These purchases proved that paying later doesn't make bad choices better. Interest turns stupid purchases into devastating long-term mistakes. Every minimum payment on these items was a reminder of impulse over intelligence. Available credit isn't the same as available money. These buyers learned expensive lessons about the difference between can and should. Subscribe if these credit card disasters shocked you, and remember, just because you can charge it doesn't mean you should buy it.